Welcome to Urban Fantasy PH. We are creatives who live in an urban society and give readers wish fulfillment by way of our stories, which is fantasy but reflective of reality. Here, we get to talk to fellow creatives like writers, authors, artists, comic book creators, filmmakers, you name it. We create and share our art here in the Philippines as well as abroad. My name is CJ Edmunds, I'm your host, and here is today's episode. Good morning, happy Wednesday, and welcome back to another episode of Urban Fantasy PH. Now, if it is your first time to join us today, you are in for a treat because, as I mentioned last week, this is our third season, and we're celebrating Pride Month along with y'all. And what better way to celebrate that to have creators within and who write and create for the LGBTQIA plus community. We embrace our diversity, and we sure as well celebrate it. Now, today is the second episode for season 3 and episode 12 overall for the podcast. And our show is aired every Wednesday for both Spotify as well as on YouTube. Now, if you want to simply listen to us, you can do that, or watch us on YouTube. Of course, the choice is yours. If you want to do both, we thank you in advance. And while you're at it, please click the subscribe button and ring the bell so you do not miss a thing, right? So today on the show, I'm excited to have on board the illustrator and author of the webcomic, as well as the print version, of course, of Nang Mainlab Ako sa Isang Sakristan. Let me hold it up. Yes, Miko. Oh, print rules. Right? So apart from the best-selling comic, he also has penned other titles like Moving On, Uy Si Crush, which itself is already on Volume 5, unless may Volume 6 and 7 na hindi pa ako updated. Kasalanan ko yan. Which is co-created by Gabby Tylo, and No Boyfriends Since Birth. Now, he graduated BFA in Information Design from the Ateneo de Manila in 2017, where he also won the Loyola School Awards for the Arts for Illustration. Currently, he is based in Savannah, Georgia. Yeah. And is also the, as for the ones that I saw, that you were then the assistant editor of Community Anthology. I wonder if you still are. You still are? Okay.
For the earlier issues, so like
for the earlier issues. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. He says that he loves creating gay narratives for young adults. So he is currently working on his graphic novel called Coming Out Perfect. This is going to be published by Scholastic Graphics in 2025. Now, when will he be creating narratives for adults? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine, but we can ask him about that because he is here today. Hello, Richard.
Hello.
And welcome to Urban Fantasy PH. Thank you so much for agreeing to guest on today's episode in this series of Pride episodes for the month of June. And it just dawned on me, as I said earlier on, that when you agreed to come in at this time of the day here, it's that time of the night there. So thank you so much for that.
Of course. I guess it's like 12 hours. It's like a 12-hour difference.
Yeah, that's right. Bilis lang yan. AM gawin mo, PM gawin mo.
Yeah.
So it's just that, especially if you're in the East Coast. But given that you're based there in the US, and it did really dawn up to me as well up until today that you're my first international guest on the show.
Wow.
Yeah,
I get international.
international.
I get everything about it.
Sige. Diba? Doon ka naka-based eh. So, yun.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I've always wanted to have at least one international guest on the show per season moving forward. So I am stoked that you are the one for this particular season. So, yay!
I don't know if I'm like internal. I'm because my experience back home. Pero okay, yeah.
Tanggap na. Well, because you're there in the US, and I was wondering if place and location has or have had any bearing in your creativity. I'm asking this because my favorite author, Anne Rice, once said that she felt her vocabulary doubled when she moved back to New Orleans after having lived in San Francisco for some time. And it was only then, when she moved there, that she was able to fully write her best-selling opus, The Witching Hour.
Well, I don't know. I guess for me kasi parang when I was back in the Philippines, lahat ng comics ko Tagalog. And then when I moved here and sort of my quest to get published here in America, I sort of transitioned to writing in English.
Ah.
Maybe if that's if that's a thing, that's what I've been doing recently, I guess.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, congrats for getting published internationally via Scholastic, and we can talk about that
True.
a little bit later on. And you are living the dream over there. Every creator and writer's dream that you're going to be published internationally. So, di ba? International talaga. So, wala nang denial dyan. For sure.
It was. I mean, I was really. I don't know. I'm still like. I'm still a little like. Oh my gosh! I'm gonna like my book is gonna get published in this like big imprint or something.
Right, right, right. It's I'm sure the feeling is
Yeah.
is surreal. It's like, is this really me? Am I dreaming?
Yeah. Because I
Am I
mean,
awake?
yeah, I guess like for me, because my experience was like, syempre, galing akong sa Pilipinas.
Yes.
So I don't know. I guess maybe if I can share like, yeah, I guess the reason why it feels a little surreal is because I know I started with like tabling in Comic Con like in
Oh God,
2012,
yes,
2013,
yes,
like
yes,
way
yes.
back pa. It's been like what 10 years like from there like selling like printed
That's what I'm
comics
that's what
and
I'm doing
everything
now too.
and then like and then to moving forward to having this thing, it just feels like oh, it's such a long journey, I guess.
And I'm sure, and when you look back at that journey, you've also seen, the sacrifices that you made and all that. But at the same time, it feels real. It also feels like very much of a reward, right? That you've done this much, and this is what you're getting now. Since you mentioned, going to cons and Comic Con and all that, can you let's say give us a little insight for those who are wondering, ano ba talaga meron sa mga con? Because I'm sure people would see it on social media. Oh, there's another con coming up, but
Hmm.
what's to see there? Or as a creator, what pushed you to be part of a con? Yeah, parang ganun.
I guess for me, when I started out like maybe like see in my senior year high school or like first year college or something, parang I wanted to make comics, pero parang I guess I looked for places na where can I sell comics and everything, and then
Mhm.
and yeah, I guess I mean the only avenue back then really was Comic Con. So
Yes, yes.
yeah, so that's how I started going, and then that's when I realized, oh, parang there's this like not super big back then, but sort of tightly knit community that like there's people, and then there's a community of people who really love this sort of format, making mini comics, making a self-published sort of thing, and that's how I sort of started. And and as the years go by, and then may comic at the parang the I feel like the comics community sort of like became like more larger and more noticed until
Hmm.
what it is right now, I guess. So yeah, and it's sort of like the I guess in general it's like the place to be if you want to start out in making your
Hmm.
own comics, I guess, and
Right.
like and selling your own stuff. Yeah.
True, true. Did you write Sakristan when you were still here in Manila?
Yeah, yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
right, no? And
Um,
when did you move to the US, Gamla?
I moved like fall 2019. So,
Fall
mga
2019.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah. It was
so
like right before the pandemic.
before the pandemic.
So,
Okay. Good.
yeah,
Buti na
yeah.
lang. Was that move more for work or for family?
No, so I was looking. So I really wanted. So my dream was always to be published internationally, like to make a graphic novel, everything.
Ooh.
So so I guess I initial so I studied. I applied for master's degree. So there's a master's degree
Mm,
here in Savannah. It's the
nice.
school is Savannah College of Art and Design. And I took a master's in sequential art, which is basically comics. So I have a
Okay.
master's degree in in comics.
Woohoo!
Yeah, so that it's here in the school where I got to meet like a community. I really there's like a community here in Savannah, surprisingly, the parang art of people in the art in the comics community, and that's how I sort of got involved eventually
Mhm.
with like the scene here in America. Yeah.
Nice, nice. Now, your graphic novel, let me hold it up again, which is called Nang Mainlove Ako sa Isang Sakristan. Yes, it's color blue, and it's about two 17-year-old boys named Francis and Didoy who were caught kissing at the back of the chapel, and their road to discovery begins there. Can you tell us what was the inspiration for that work?
Well, initially, I just thought like, oh, what if it's you know, I think about, oh, what if two altar boys sort of get together or something? But it's just the initial concept, and then sort of with that initial concept, I sort of built it. Of, oh, what if I want to tell a story of like, what's that? Thinking about like coming out, but like, or the fears of coming out, but then
Hmm.
realizing
Hmm.
like before you've even heard the other person's side or something, parang takot na takot ka na or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And parang, and I sort of created a story around that premise na parang, to create sort of a story where people there's an acknowledgement of like gay people's fears of like coming out, and but then sort of giving comfort also na it doesn't always have to be that or doesn't have to always be such bad thing, it's
Hmm.
a
Hmm.
bad thing happen, parang, yeah. So that's sort of the inspiration that I have for when I made this back in I was published 2019 in my Silo Publishing, but I made it way back in 2018. Yes, I first released it as like a uh parang webcomic in Facebook, and then eventually put it as a graphic novel.
All right. So that actually answers my latter question I have, which is which one went first? Was the webcomic came first or the print version first? So it's the webcomic first and then the print version.
Hmm.
No? Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it hard to create the characters, or did you base some of the characters on actual people that you know?
Rather than the characters, parang I guess the experiences that the characters have. Not that I experienced anything like kissing someone in the back of the church,
In the
but
back of
sort
the
of like
church, okay.
not that I experienced anything like that, but more of like not necessarily the characters, but sort of like certain things that they were going through on their head, certain things that they were
Mm-hmm.
experiencing, or sort of things where I based that in sort of my own like sort of my thoughts and process also. So I sort of in a way put it in these characters. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Have you ever, let's say, created a character from scratch and not based on any person that you know in real life? Challenging.
Mm, okay. Well, kasi for me, I don't know, because yeah, I guess as I said, I mainly focus on like contemporary and then young adult sort of stories. Eventually parang naging ganun na yung focus ko. So I
Mm-hmm.
feel like
Mm-hmm.
for me to be able to write like really strong characters, I try to base it off like, oh, is there someone I know that's sort of similar to this, and parang that's sort of how I get the sort of
The
like
idea for it. Yeah.
the
The
idea or like
basis
the
for
beat
it. Yeah.
for different characters and how they react to each other, I guess. Yeah.
Uh, and if in case you base them on someone you know, would you tell them or nah? Keep it a
Uh,
secret.
I guess parang I mix everything together, so it's
Okay.
it's never just one person, so no one will no one will know.
No one will know. Yeah, because if you base it on one person, then and then you tell them, "Wow, he's got bragging rights," and let's say that's me in the story. That's me in the graphic novel. Bilhin yan ah, buy it, okay? May porsyento ko. What I love about your work is that what you do is very real. I mean, the characters as well as the situations that they find themselves, they're very real. They're very relatable, and it obviously can happen to anybody else. Now, apart from the graphic novel in questions, you also have other web comics. There's the No Boyfriend Since Birth. There's also Moving On. Can you tell us this time around about those, and were they kind of like perhaps also inspired by real stories of real people that you know?
Um, so for moving on, it's a mini comic I made. So it's about two guys, and then so it's just a really small mini comic, it's like
It is. It is.
52
Yeah,
pages or something. But it's about like two guys, and then one guy sort of is about to move away to a different place, and then the other guy sort of like yearning to see what he feels
yeah,
before
yeah.
he goes away. So that's why it's moving on.
Taas
Before he
kamay
moves
if
on,
relate.
like before someone moves away, do I have the courage to be able to say what I feel? I guess. So that's sort
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
basis for that one. Yeah, and yeah, I guess. But I mean, I have a lot of for me. Not that I've done something similar to that, but more of,
Yeah.
I've had a lot of experiences moving different places. Even when I was in high school, parang because my family moved to different countries, also to live. So parang I've always had that. I've always had something. Not the experience, but like the experience of moving, not the relationship,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but
Right.
the
Right.
experience of moving and sort of like my feelings towards that, and then that's sort of how I created that story. And then for no boyfriend since birth, yes. So the title is sort of like based on my experience, I guess. So I guess this is the only. I mean, I don't know
The
if I
only
made it wrong, but
autobiographical
I guess
work.
I don't know. It's not autobiographical. Uh, but yeah, I guess it's sort of like an experience of mine, sort of like I guess because of like not that super strict growing up or something, but like I've only my personal experience is like only date only I only started dating like way later in life, like
Mm-hmm.
in my
Okay.
20s. So sort of like what I used as an inspiration for this comic, just because one thing I realized is like, I bet there's people who have a similar experience for me. Not everyone. I don't think everyone dated when they were teenagers or something. So I sort of based it on that one. There's sort of like two guys who've never experienced going on a date with another guy ever, and then that's sort of like what situation would arise in that sort of experience, I guess.
Right. Yeah. For those who feel that their dating life that began in their 20s is rather late, no, you're just right on track. I'd say. Everyone progresses according to what they're ready for. Some
Yeah.
people date way much earlier.
Mm,
Some people date maybe even after the 20s. So
mm,
there really is no right or wrong time. The
mm.
only right time is whenever it feels right
Yeah.
for you, or
Yeah. And
that's the only thing.
just to add also, para I think like just for this story, for your it's parang I was also thinking like, especially for gay people in general,
Mhm.
like I feel like maybe for the gay community there's an expectancy. Oh, you've dated before or you have this experience. When in fact, and I feel like there's a lot of people who've never experienced and then who's never like who doesn't know a lot of things.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah,
sort of
yeah,
like
yeah.
my inspiration in that. Yeah.
Right. You mentioned that Sakristan was published through Silaw Publishing. I was
Yes.
wondering, is Silaw your own imprint?
I know this. Do you know Sir Toto Madayag of Libreng Comics?
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Toto
yeah, yeah.
Madag. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right,
Yeah.
right, right.
So Sir Toto has sort of like a little imprint. Silo Publishing. Well, I think it was the first one he published was do you know Shamson Sona? What's the title again? But yeah, and then
Yeah,
my
that
work.
was
Yeah,
more. I think that was more fantasy
yeah,
and
yeah. Conflict Action. It's Conflict.
Dragon Ball ish.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was
Yeah,
really nice, yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah,
Sir Toto sort of publishes these things, and then there was something called is it the one with the mushroom
yeah,
later
yeah,
on?
yeah, right, right. The one with the mushroom. Wait,
Yeah, yeah.
now that you're based there in the U.S. And you have a new work coming out, would it be possible to adapt this into for the English market?
Well, because I guess for me it's not that it's an old work or something, but it's been a while since I made it, and I do have actually I have a English version of it actually, and it's released in PENLAB.
Yes,
Called
that one I
yeah,
saw.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, but it may be in English, but if like to tailor fit it for an international market,
Mm.
has the idea thought of crossed your mind whether you do that
Um,
in the future?
Well, maybe it has crossed my mind, but I guess for now, like I sort of like making different stories for now.
Hmm, hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, in short, just moving along, the journey of
yeah, move,
creativity.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
So
yeah, I
trying to
understand. I
create
understand.
more new stories, I guess.
Right, right. So while Sakristan is a story about the journey of two young men, your other work, No Boyfriend Since Birth, is equally a journey of discovery for Mark and Paolo.
Mm.
And the same can probably also be said with your other work, which is Moving On, that deals with Alex and Steven. And although it is a mini comic, it is equally the journey of being open to your truth to a point that you're able to speak it. Now, as much as these are stories of discovery, it is also one about decision. So I was wondering, in your own creative process, do you create in order to discover, or do you decide earlier on what you create and you just map it accordingly? In short, are you a plotter or a pantser? Daming tanong. Yun at yun din ang bagsak eh.
How do I answer that? I guess maybe parang the way I build, I don't know if it's the same for other people, but I guess mas parang the way I create a story or in general is like I guess I first think of the message, like what do I want to say
Mm-hmm,
in
mm-hmm,
this
mm-hmm.
story first, and that's how parang if there's like this one idea, like this one um sort of like a word or something. So like for moving on, and then how to move on, and then sort of build the story around the idea. So that's how I sort of do it. The message, and then how to build a story around this message I want to say. I guess.
So from the message, I mean, there's always this, question with regards to when you write a comic, which one should start first? Should the drawing start first, or should the story start, start from there, and the drawings will just supplement the story? Which is which for you?
For me, kasi I'm a, like I guess not that I'm sort of a disciple of like not super strict, but like the comic process. I always start with the script first. Well,
Okay,
lately I've been trying to do like jump around from script to like rough art, but I definitely do the writing first
the
before
writing first.
I draw it, because I feel like for me personally, because it's more not that uh, how do you say that, it's more because I focus on the message a lot, so
Mm-hmm,
I want
mm-hmm.
to be able to write the story first, and then I sort of like I can at least I have something written before I do. It's called I call
Before
it
you
thumbnails,
before you
where
draw
you
it, yeah.
yeah, before I do like a rough drawing of it, and then I can like I can sort of like uh manipulate or like tweak things before
Yeah.
I do the final art, I guess. So that's sort of like my strict process in comic making, I guess.
Yeah, but I suppose there are people whose process is the other way around,
Of
drawing
course,
first,
yeah,
and
definitely,
then
yeah,
and then when the drawing is there, that's the only time
yeah,
that they start devising a plot
yeah,
based on the
definitely.
drawing.
Yeah, I definitely know people who, rather than having like a strict script or everything, they draw it first, and then they sort of like implement the what to say afterwards, I guess.
Hmm.
And it's there's no one like one way or another. It's more of like
Hmm.
what does someone prefer in terms of like comic making,
What
I
feels
guess.
for you, you're right. And
Yeah,
if you
what feels
don't know
right for
which
you?
one,
Yeah,
yeah, well, if you don't know which one works for you, then it's okay to try both, right?
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
That,
or and if yun nga lang, if you don't draw, you can always hire an artist to draw for you, and even if it's like just a rough sketch of people, just toothpick yeah, skeletons of
that's
people of
fine.
where they're supposed to be, and where
Yeah.
in the panel and all that.
Yeah.
Speaking of paneling, this is again a craft question. When do you decide that it's supposed to be a full page panel, and when do you decide that, oh wait, it can't be entire page, has to be like half, and then is that more of a based on how you want the momentum of the story, or because of logistic wise in terms of the
Uh,
printing and stuff?
for me, it's the first one. So I write the script, but so some people have a rigid script where they put like panel one, panel two, ito yung kailangan
Yeah,
sabihin niya,
yeah.
panel three. But for me, I just write the dialogue, and then I sort of base, when I have the dialogue, that's sort of how I base, oh, I need to pace it like this or like this. When I
Mm,
translate it to the rough, like the rough art, my thumbnails, where that's sort of how I adjust the dialogue para parang this part, so parang certain parts can I can know which parts to like put more things together, and then where what parts where things should breathe more, I guess.
okay. Right.
Yeah.
Now, since we also touched up on the subject of journey, and since it is Pride Month, I hope it's okay. I'd like to ask you about your own journey as a member of the community. And I leave it to you how much you want to share, but do you remember your own journey in coming to terms about who you are?
Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. Yeah, I guess for me, like in terms of coming out, uh, I guess it happened during college. I guess,
Mm-hmm.
there's. I feel like I went. Not, I don't know how to divulge it. But not I went through like crazy things or anything, but definitely I feel like everyone's coming out experience is a bit different. But yeah, there definitely some hardships that I went through to be able to like be like very very open about it, I guess. And I feel like for Filipinos in general, even though you're like open in one way, you're still not open in some other areas, I guess. So it's like it's really, I guess for me, maybe coming out is more of like an onion, or I don't know, like a thing where it's like, oh, some parts you can reveal to different people, and then some parts you
Right,
don't
right.
reveal everything to certain people, and that's sort of how. I feel like a lot of Filipinos are sort of similar in that sense, I guess. And sort of for me, I guess that's sort of my experience, I guess.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah,
In short, you sort of try to adapt your own process to everyone else, right? I mean, yeah. So
yeah,
if and same thing, I guess you do have different set of friends for different things, right? I mean, you'd have
yeah,
different set of friends for work. You will have different set of friends for, let's say, maybe a foodie group, right? I mean, you don't
yeah.
necessarily tell your foodie group everything about
Yeah,
what's
right.
going on at work.
You don't share like everything about your life to certain people, you know.
Yeah, yeah. So in a way, it's that it's basically filtering what you want to tell people
Yeah.
and when you want to tell them and how much
Yes.
you want to tell them. So I was wondering, what was the biggest hurdle for you with regards to coming to terms with your true self? Um, Multiple choice. There will be multiple choice. Talaga eh. People will have different hurdles. There will be
Mhm.
family,
Mhm.
there'll be religion, there'll be
Yeah.
friends, the environment. So I was wondering, would any
Yeah.
of those things be
Yeah.
your biggest hurdle?
Yeah, I guess for me the biggest hurdle was definitely, and still sort of like a hurdle, is family. I'm sure a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people can relate to that. I recently made a comic. It's called, I guess I'll promote it. I guess I posted on Twitter. But it's called "I Owe It to My Parents to Not Come Out."
Oh, that's a
And I
nice
think,
title.
and yeah, I think I feel like a lot of people really, when I posted it on Twitter, like in March or something, I think a lot of people really resonated to a similar problem that I have in general. So
Mm-hmm,
yeah,
mm-hmm.
if you guys wanna read my experience, I guess just read that. It's on my Twitter page, I guess.
It's on your Twitter
Yeah,
page. Okay, we will ask you to your Twitter handle later. But that's only on Twitter. It's not on PenLab or anything, right?
no.
No, no, it's only there. Okay, good. Then we will flood your Twitter Twitter page with comments about it a little while later on. And I know that in the community, especially our trans brothers and sisters, they're being under fire and thrown under bus by
Mhm.
conservatives in the U.S. Have
Yes.
you had any?
Recently,
And
right? Yeah.
yeah, and it's sad to see that 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 things have gone from bad to worse.
I know.
Have you spoken to any members of that community, or do you have friends who are within the trans community?
Yeah, I do. And then, yeah, I guess it's really, especially here in America right now, there's like, different things that are being passed, like it's crazy. And
Yeah, it
people,
is. It is.
people are definitely, yeah, my friends who are, trans are definitely a bit worried, especially, we live in the South. But,
But at least you're not
yeah,
in Texas, so I mean, you're
yeah,
not
yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
Florida, so at least
Yeah.
that's still
Yeah,
a
it's
little
not,
a little
you know,
silver lining
and
right
we live in
there.
a really, and I guess the small town of Savannah is very, like, I think if you look at the political map of who voted for Trump and Biden, that's I think Savannah is like blue. Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's sort
yeah.
of, it's
Very.
the two places in Georgia that's blue. This and Atlanta. That's it. Yeah.
All right, all right. The only thing I know about Savannah, Georgia, was apart from it being in the South, is from the movie Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil,
Oh.
which I loved. It's a book by John Brent. That was a story about this rich guy who lives in the Mercer house, the house of Johnny Mercer, the American composer. I'm just wondering if
Oh,
you're anywhere near that house.
I didn't even know. Oh my gosh, something I
Ah,
have to check out.
oh yeah,
What
go
I
watch
do
the film.
know,
It is a
yeah,
great film and a great book.
yeah. What I do know is that Forrest Gump was shot here.
Yes,
So
it was.
there's
Yes,
like
it
a bench
was.
here of like, oh, this is where Forrest Gump fought.
Oh,
That's it. That's the only thing I
that should be on your social media account. You
know.
know, this is the bench that Forrest sat on and started eating his chocolate. Um, but I also like to insert that the importance of community cannot be overstated because when you're trying to sort yourself out, you may feel that you are, let's say, in a tunnel and you see nothing else
Yeah.
around you except darkness and your own struggle and the need to get to the end of the tunnel because you see a light up ahead and you want to get there and then when you find there you realize that oh there's grass out here. Oh, there's houses out there. There's people on the side and there's a community, right, that's ready to embrace and accept you. And whenever I hear the phrase find your tribe, it speaks volumes to me because people who are grappling with their true identity often feel that they're alone on that journey, but you know they're not. And if in case you are, who you're listening to us right now or watching us, you are feeling a little bit alone in that journey. You are not. The
Yeah,
community will
you're
always be
not.
there.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And whether one is a creative person or not, family will be a source of inspiration as well as influence. I was wondering, would there be any members of your family who are avid readers or creators as well?
Uh, my family?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No.
That's okay. None of my family members are avid readers either, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and I keep mentioning this in the podcast when back in the day when mom was still around and she would see me buying books, it's like, bibili ka
Mhm.
na naman? Di mo pa naman nababasa lahat yan? Bili ka ng bili, keep buying books. You're not going to read all of them. Are you going to open a bookstore one day? Ma, wait. Wish. Who knows? I just might. But that's how we are as creatives. We find inspiration from wherever we can, and usually it's we get inspired by other people's works, other people's art. So I was wondering, who do you draw inspiration from with regards to art and comic books?
Um, Siguro like inspiration in terms of like I don't know who my idol is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know.
Pero
Yeah.
yeah, I guess in terms of comics, I don't know if you know Jillian Tamaki or Marco Tamaki. So they did this graphic novel called This One Summer. I guess
Hmm.
ever since I read that like in college or something, that sort of like has been like my inspiration to be published here. Because it feels like it's sort of that tone of like young adult and people sort of like not young adult but like teens in general sort of like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
figuring themselves out, trying to like figure themselves out in this world. And like the way they write and then the way like the way Julian Tamaki draws also is like such a big inspiration to me personally. So if there was a book recommendation, I would recommend this one song.
All right. Would you happen to have that book on your shelf?
Yeah, it's in my like
Somewhere,
it's
somewhere.
theirs. Yeah, I wish I could like I could just go. Ooh.
Yeah, but for those who are fans, I'm sure you know who that particular creator is. Yeah, thank you for that book recommendation.
Mhm.
And I mean, whether you find inspiration in other people's art or in something that you've done before, there will be days when you don't feel like drawing, you don't feel like writing, you don't feel like creating, but you know that you have to.
Mhm.
So in those days when you feel like I'm not in the mood, what keeps you going?
I guess when you I guess earlier when you
Please
were
say
mentioning
coffee.
all
Please say
ah,
coffee.
okay, coffee. Yes, of course. But I try lately. I've been trying to, because if I'm sort of like a night owl. Like that's why I'm only creative. Pero I've been trying to like transition from coffee to tea. Pero yeah, I guess in terms of what do you call it? In terms of like finding motivation, because
Mhm.
especially for me now, since I'm doing something where there's like a strict deadline and everything.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like I guess when you mentioned like I feel like making comics is like does feel such a lonely journey in a way. It's you're in your own space and then you're drawing by yourself. But um, for me, it's sort of like I have a little. I guess here in Savannah, specifically, I have like a little community of like comic artists also,
Mm-hmm.
and it's sort of something that sort of helps you like finding again when you said like finding your own tribe. I feel like that's sort of something that I've been able to find now. So there's sort of I have a lot of friends, a group of friends here who we sort of like motivate each other to sort of like
Mm-hmm.
to push in terms of like uh creating something like creating comics because for me I still have the a job in the morning, so I have to make comics at night. So that's sort of like my I have to have like motivation, or I have to
Yeah.
have like the drive to be able to do this like all the time, and sort of I rely on like the group of people that I'm with to sort of like push each other, you know, to sort of like to push each other and then be motivated with what we're all doing. So yeah, we actually have like so maybe I can share a little bit. We actually have a little collective. It's called so parang so I have another friend here who's Filipino. Their name is Danny Chotico. We made a little group. We call it Utot Comics Collective.
Okay.
So so we sort of did this thing because we have all of us. We love comics, but we have and we do comics professionally, but we all have 9 to 5 jobs. So it's sort of like something to sort of we sort of did something where we made every month we do like
Mm-hmm.
a sort of like it's like a 2 week challenge where we fart
Okay.
out comics.
All right.
So it's sort of our rule was sort of like in 2 weeks you have to make something with a minimum of 6 pages, but it doesn't have to be anything fancy or anything, but as long as you're able to complete a story, like
All right. Well, that's good.
sort of like
That's
yeah, to
nice.
sort of just so we sort of like we're right now we're like maybe 10 people or something, so we sort of like
Mm-hmm.
push each other like uh sort of like we make comics and then
Mm-hmm.
we make these comics and then there's no and then when after you make it you farted it out inutot mo parang ganun. So and then we sort of like uh present it to each other and then we only give like positive feedback. So
Mm-hmm.
parang to just to push each other to just
Well, that's
positively
nice.
make comic all the time. So yun
Yeah.
yung the sort of the little heaven that I have here in Savannah, and then we yeah. So that's our we have a
Well,
little
that's
collective
good.
like
I
that.
mean,
Yeah,
it pretty much sounds like NaNoWriMo for me. I don't know if you
something
know
yeah, I
what
think something like that.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
something
yeah.
like yeah. For those who don't know what NaNoWriMo is, it's the National Novel Writing Month, wherein people
Mm-hmm.
gather around to write 50,000 words in a month. And some people would prefer to write on their own. Some people would want to go into cafes and writing groups. So
Yeah,
it's great that you have that you have people
yeah.
to
It's
bounce
really
ideas
yeah,
off each
yeah.
other
Mhm.
and to say that, oh, this looks good, or it would be better if you split the panel in four rather than than making it just two.
Sure.
So great.
Yeah.
um we touched a little bit about about coffee, and you said you're transitioning into tea, or at least having tea in your own personal menu. But
At night time, pero I drink coffee every
uh,
day. Pero,
okay,
yeah,
yes.
it's like the kasi so my work ends at like my work ends late. My work ends at 9 p.m. and then I have to
Oh
continue
wow.
making comics until so and guess because I'm a night owl, so I have to continue making comics until 2
Wait,
a.m.
if
or
you don't
something.
mind me asking, what is your day job? Yeah.
Currently I work as a production artist at Skybound. So
Okay.
Skybound this
Oh
so they publish The Walking Dead, Invincible,
yes.
that sort of thing. So as a production artist, I do like packaging, like uh sort of like putting the book together and putting the books together for print. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Nice. It's also equally sort of the same of what you do in your own, spare time, which is great.
Mhm.
Would you have any word of advice out there for aspiring comic book creators?
For me, when as what I was sharing with my collective, where we push people to just make 6 pages, uh, I think for me, it's definitely if you're just starting out, definitely, make a mini comic. Don't like. I know everyone always has their like super super big idea, which is great. Like maybe you have like a super fantasy epic that spans like 8 volumes or something.
Mm-hmm.
For me, my always my first suggestion to someone starting out, especially in comics, is to create something with the beginning, middle, and end, even if it's just
Mm-hmm.
small, like
Okay.
something like 4 pages or 6 pages, like to be like practice yourself to create something, that's manageable and then that's complete, and then so you sort of get used to create. I feel like for me, when I create something that's complete and everything, I sort of get uh how do you call it? Or not a rush, or like
Mm.
satisfaction that I'm able to
Yeah.
create something complete. And I think
Right. Right.
that's sort of something I like to share whenever I talk to people, to younger creators or something, or people who are just starting out. Like create something that's like small, create something manageable or something, and then sort of like slowly grow yourself from that. Yeah, that sort of
Right,
thing.
right. I mean, if graphic novel is a little way too ambitious in
Mhm.
your eyes, yeah, a zine would be good to start
Yes,
out with.
yes, of
Yeah,
course, yeah.
yeah.
And that's
Be it
the great
quickly
that
versatile.
yes. Right, that's why that's what's so great about stuff like having Comic Con or Comic at around, because you can participate in these places and then share your comics there, right? And then it's sort of yeah.
Right, right. Would you have anything similar to there in Savannah, like mini Comic Cons or anything?
Mm, there's a Savannah Comic Con. I participated
Okay.
last year, I guess. There's some so there's but where I participated where it's like a really big event, but it's sort of like, I guess how I would compare it would be, it's like if Comic Con was like a an even larger thing.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
called
yeah.
it's called Small Press Expo. It's in
Ah, small
we
press.
went I went last year. It's called it's near DC. It's like it happens every year. And sort of like an event where it's really people who sell but small press basically. So it's like people who do
Publishers
self-publishing, people who do
and yeah,
small
and imprints.
indie and small, but it's like a really really big event where it's all that.
Mm,
So
nice.
it's really, and when I went there, I was like, oh my god, I feel so inspired. Yes,
Yeah, cons will always inspire you, and of course,
yeah,
cons will also be a great source of networking, to say the least,
hmm yes,
and to meet new people. Yeah, that's great. And if and anyone watching or listening is wondering, should I go to cons? Yeah, you
yes,
should.
yes.
Why should you not go to cons,
That's
right?
definitely also where I met a lot of my like comics friends in the
Yeah, yeah,
Philippines.
yeah.
Yeah,
See?
you first meet them in these conventions, diba? So
Yeah, that's
that's
right. That's
really
right.
I'll join. Yeah,
That it's automatic. It should be like that,
do it.
automatic. One press of a
Yeah.
button. Yeah, do it. Any advice for those this time around who are still in the process of finding themselves and finding the courage as well to be true to themselves?
hmm Um, in I guess uh, everyone has different situations. I'm never the type of person who's like, you should tell everyone. Again, what I shared earlier, where it's like I'm sort of like something where I share certain things to certain people, and then, but you'd be surprised. I think for me, what if to someone who's listening here, I guess like you'd be surprised how there's people around you who will listen to you. There's people around you who will understand you.
Hmm.
Take the first step. You don't have to. You don't have to like plunge all in. You can start with
Yeah,
someone you trust. A group of people you love. Before jumping in. I guess
that's right.
for
That's
me
right.
that's how I do it. Yeah, in
You don't
life,
have to
not just
be
in
Bart Simpson and putting a megaphone in your window and just saying.
yeah. Do something that you're comfortable with. That's sort of my
Yes,
thing. Yeah,
exactly. Baby steps, in short.
yeah. Of course,
Yeah.
of course.
All right.
Yeah.
So, apart from the graphic novel that I would love you to talk about, what is also next on the horizon for you?
What else? I guess right now that's the only thing I have right now, because it's such a big task to do. So I've put off doing sort of other things. um,
Uh-huh.
yeah. I
So,
ju-
that graphic novel, once again, just to recap, is called "Coming Out Perfect," but it's coming out in 2025, not 2024.
yeah,
No,
hopefully,
hopefully, okay. But
as
if it
I
comes
as
out
I
earlier, then yes, we will. You should let us know so we can grab a copy ASAP.
Mhm. Hopefully.
It's going to be released by Scholastic Graphics. So would that be
Mhm.
like a subsidiary of Scholastic Books?
So Scholastic is it's sort of like Scholastic's graphic novel imprint. So
Okay.
if you I don't know if you know a bunch of graphic novels from Scholastic, but they are the biggest publisher in the United States for comics,
Okay.
for kids comics in general. So if you
Yes.
know stuff like Captain Underpants, Dogman,
Mm.
I don't know if you guys know the Rina Telgemeier books, Smile,
Yeah. I think I've seen those.
God,
Yes. Yes.
yeah,
Right.
and
Right.
so it's a lot of for kids thing. But recently they published Heartstopper, in America.
Yes. Heartstopper.
So there's a publisher of Heartstopper also. So yeah,
Okay.
so those are
That's
some
it.
of the young adult stuff they're doing recently, I guess. Yeah.
Mm. So yeah, they're probably the sister company of Scholastic Books, but instead of books, it's really more for
For
graphic
graphic novels,
novels.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's really that. All right.
Mhm.
Well, I wish you all the best of luck with that particular graphic novel, and of course, it's once you've released one like that, uh, the emotional high that you get from putting it out into the world
I know it's
will never be enough, and
yeah,
you feel that, okay, I've done this, I have to do more. So that's what I wish for you,
yeah,
for your creative process, that you get to
yeah.
publish more, and to reach more readers, and hopefully the adult readers will be part of that market sometime down the road. Maase.
Yeah. For now, because I guess I focus more on like teen stories in one. I feel
Yeah.
like there's something there in terms of like I feel like there's a need personally that's sort of one of the reasons I'm doing in terms of like I feel like there aren't well now there's sort of slowly gaining traction, but like uh but I feel like before there weren't a lot of like comics specifically that are aimed
Yeah.
towards Filipino gay teens in special specifically. So that's sort of something sort of I want to make more works that's
Hmm.
sort of targeted towards that. 'Cause I feel like people need it, I guess. So
Exactly, exactly. And that's your way, and that's, I guess, as a creative person, that's also our way of paying it forward
yeah, of course,
to the community, right? I
yeah, of
mean,
course,
the
yeah.
community has been there for us, because it's done wonders for us, for our well-being. It's always nice to pay it forward. Where can they know more about you and your work if they want to follow you on social media?
You can follow me on Twitter, Richard_MERCZ, and on Instagram, walang underscore, Richard MERCZ. Yeah.
All right, we will put that in the show notes, and so that people can just click and follow you. But let's say, between Twitter and Instagram, where would they more see more of all the stuff that you do?
Um, I'm both there, but
You're on
I guess
both.
Twitter, yeah, if you want,
Okay,
if you want, yeah, yeah, yeah,
right.
Twitter.
I'll bug you there.
Oh, sure. I mean, it's fine. Instagram is great also. I'm there both. I'm always doom scrolling, so yeah.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, congrats, Richard, on the upcoming work, and also congrats on your previous work that you've released, and may it continue to reach a new and wider audience, and who knows, the best uh, payback, or the best reward, I guess, that any author or creative will ever get, is that they come up to you and they tell you that, because of your work, I did mine. And you know
I
that,
know.
when you hear stuff like that,
Mm,
you know that you've done your job. And I do
yeah.
hope that for you. And if you are going to be the next Alice Oseman, and you make your own Heartstopper that will sell millions and be adapted on Amazon Prime or Netflix, I wish that for you as well. Because Filipino creatives are awesome, and Filipino
Yes.
creatives
Yes.
need to be
Of course.
recognized
Yes.
around the world over. So ibida natin ang sarili.
Dapat lang. Yeah. Yes.
'Di ba?
Yes. Yes.
Pinoy pride every day.
Of course. Of course. Always.
Yeah, true. That's a wrap for today. Thank you so much, Richard, for joining us in this episode. Thank you also to Spine Books for your support since day one. Now, if you are a creative and you would like to be featured on the podcast, simply just email us at urbanfantasyph@gmail.com. No space, no underscore, no nothing. Just one word, urbanfantasyph@gmail.com. You can follow the show on Instagram and Facebook as well as me over at cjedmunds.com. Till the next episode, Indie Authors Unite. Keep creating, and we'll keep reading. And if you're on your journey to finding yourself, I hope that you find it soon, and know that the community can be your family. And if you are given the chance to pay it forward, do so today. Stay safe, stay creative. Namaste, and blessed be. Happy Pride, everybody.
Happy Pride.
That was another episode of Urban Fantasy PH. Join us next time as we feature another creative soul who wants their art to be seen, heard, and shared. If you have your own work to share, just email us at urbanfantasyph@gmail.com. Through the next episode, this is independent author, singer-songwriter, radio personality, voice actor, and fellow creative, CJ Edmunds, reminding you to always listen to your heart, create with your mind, and share with your soul. Goodbye, everybody. Namaste. Blessed be.